So hi, welcome everybody again to the Kern County Breastfeeding Coalition meeting. One of our agenda topics for today is going over the breastfeeding educational resources for staff. A little background on this. The reason why this is something that I created, kind of drafted out, and it was in need of, well, it was sprung up because numerous conversations with WIC nutrition assistants and health educators and nurses with limited information and no formal breastfeeding education training came forward to me and told me, hey, you know, we love that there's so many resources here in the community and just evidence-based, but sometimes it's hard to, sorry, I'm just letting a few people in. Sometimes it's hard to find all these you know, resources and you know, it's a little overwhelming. So I wanted to create this PDF form and make it super user friendly. At least I think it is. This is something that you would not be able to print out. It would be something on your desktop or on your phone, and you could click on it as if it were a website. So it's hyperlinked, and I'm going to go ahead and share what it looks like. Oops. Okay, can you guys still see my screen? Yes, perfect. So this is what it looks like. Nothing super fancy. I'll zoom in. Can you guys see it a lot clearer now? Perfect. So I wanted to start it off with, you know, a lot of the people that came forward to me, they didn't have any formal breastfeeding training. So I found that the Stanford Medicine has a short course that's free. This is a course that I share out to healthcare providers and their medical assistants, any medical staff members that want to just learn a little bit about breastfeeding and know the basics, right? So here, if you click on it, it will send you over here, just so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay. Can we still see my screen? Yes? Perfect. Thank you for the thumbs up. So you would just simply enroll. It's free unless you want a certificate. So if you do want a certificate, it is $30 for the certificate, but it's very, you know, it's very short, and I wouldn't say super short. It's probably, you know, a good, I think it says right there, include a 7-day free trial, after which you pay to earn your verified certificate. So I like it because there's a lot of videos. It's, you know, it covers the essentials of breastfeeding, just so you have an idea and you could have a conversation and learn some of the terminology. So there's that. Another on the same website is the Stanford Medicine Getting Started with Breastfeeding. So this is a few videos going over how to initiate breastfeeding in the first hour after giving birth, and a series of other videos going over some, you know, troubleshooting with breastfeeding. So, you know, how to, I believe it's how to cope with like nipple pain, and yeah, so preparing for successful breastfeeding, the perfect latch, hand expressing. So those are just some of the videos that are in that. And then here we are, the Kern County Breastfeeding Coalition in English and Spanish, and you can always follow us on Instagram. And some of you may or may not know the American Academy of Pediatrics website. They also have a healthychildrens.org, which this one, I really like it for when I'm sharing articles to the WIC nutritionist assistants here at WIC, because it simplifies the information so that it's easier to understand for those that don't know, you know, the medical jargon of breastfeeding. So I really like this, and it's easier for parents to also kind of read through it. So that's a great resource. Again, the California Breastfeeding Coalition. And then I just wanted to pinpoint some specifics that people have come forward to me and I've seen the need is, proper human milk storage and baby behavior, traveling and breastfeeding, and then just an overall your guide to breastfeeding, and then weaning your baby in English and in Spanish. Moving on, this is 5 pages long. I'm sure we could make it 20 pages long, but I wanted for it to be condensed, so it's something that you can always refer back to depending on the need. I broke it up into 2 sections. So these on the right-hand side, droplet, global health media, and it's only natural, mothers love mother's milk. These are all videos that can be shared with your participants. It's very short, 2 to 3, maybe 7 minutes at the most. And then on the left side, you have your webinars, which is if you want to learn more about, how marketing infant formula influences our decisions on infant feeding and just the risks that are involved. And then this is great, the Healthy Tummies, breastfeeding and the gut microbiome. It's just a great resource. We're learning so much about the microbiome. So that's as more research comes out, I love following the Healthy Horizons. They always post great videos and they have great speakers come out, all for free. And then some of you may or may not know that the Keynes and Tulare Breastfeeding Coalition has a quarterly lunch and learn. And I just clipped 2 of their lunch and learns, but later I will share with you all the recordings over the past 2 years that Keynes and Tulare Breastfeeding Coalition has compiled and all the trainings and webinars they've done. So I'll share that later. Moving on to lactation accommodation. A lot of people don't know, but your WIC Regional Breastfeeding Liaison, or your RBL, also helps out with lactation accommodation when it comes to speaking to employers about policies and training, doing staff trainings on how to make your facility more breastfeeding friendly. Also, if you have a participant that comes forward and says, I work at X, Y, and Z retail store, and they're not giving me the space, even though they meet all the requirements to give me that space. They have more than 50 employees. Now under the Pump Act, there's more, it's a broader, it covers more employees, and it protects them so that they have time and space to breast pump. So you can always reach out to me and I can go talk to the employers, or you can always click any of these links. So specifically, a lot of the complaints in the past or cases have been with retail stores. So you would just click on the link and it sends you to a PDF form. And this PDF form kind of goes over, the requirements, what it would look like, finding solutions, how to store your milk in this situation, and some more resources. So that's something you can always share with your employer, or share with the participant to share with their employer. So there is a few on there. Breastfeeding friendly. I've been using this term, kind of a lot, but there is different types of, different types of initiatives that are specific to certain facilities. So for example, 9 steps, that would pertain more to health centers like Clinica Sierra Vista, and they're actually one of the health centers that is under the 9 steps. So they follow these procedures and they go over how to make your facility 9 steps, breastfeeding friendly. And then the hospitals follow or are going to be required to follow the 10 steps international code. So that is specifically for the hospitals, but in case you want to just, broaden your knowledge on that or know what it means to be breastfeeding friendly or baby friendly, as that's another a way that they can become compliant with the 10 steps. So for us that are, day to day, we're working with our participants, and let's say we have somebody that's expecting, then we can ask them, do you know what baby friendly means? And then you can talk to them about, this is what baby friendly means. And baby friendly, essentially, times have really changed from years ago. They would separate the infant and the birthing parent, right? So they would put the infant in like a nursing space, right, away from the mom. Now with baby friendly, they have to room in with the mother or with the birthing parent for more time, and they if the birthing parent wants to breastfeed, if that's their choice, then they would help them initiate that breastfeeding relationship. So they would practice skin to skin. They would connect them to a lactation consultant, all in the hospital. And these are some of the hospitals that are baby friendly currently. Adventist Health is in progress. And then I didn't specify, but Adventist Health in Bakersfield. So Adventist Health in Delano currently is not in the process of becoming baby friendly currently, but they are looking into it. And then here are just some healthcare provider resources. And I did also link part 1 and part 2 of the hospital, the model hospital policy. So if you do have colleagues, know any nurses or that aren't on this call that you'd like to share this with, you're more than welcome to do so. And it has the passcode here. So if you have any issues with accessing any of these items, let me know and I can go back and revise them. Lastly is participant resources. So I kind of wanted to put it all in one, where where your human milk donor banks are and who to call, but also the Nest & Co has a milk depot, which essentially they would store your milk there and then ship it out, but you would still have to go through the process of seeing if you're an eligible donor. Mother to Baby, I believe it was Ashley Acevedo that mentioned this to me, and it's a great resource. I've been looking into it, and I found out that they actually have an app. So essentially what it is, it's a nonprofit organization that's recommended by the FDA Office of Women's Health and Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And let's say you have a question on any exposures that you had in your pregnancy, or if you want to know which medication to avoid to take while breastfeeding, or what medication is okay. So you could call their specialist, you can go to their website, or you can even download the app, type in your medication, and it'll list out if there's any effects to breastfeeding or during pregnancy. And they also have other great resources. You can actually order mother to baby free materials by clicking on this link, and then it kind of walks you through, their store. You order as much as you need, and if it's over their permitted, amount, then they will email you. But everything's free. The shipping's free. So I think it's a great resource. I use it all the time, and I've shared it with our WIC offices to order for their own offices. So we haven't had issues as of yet. And then Legal Aid at Work is also a nonprofit. They're based here in California, And they have two hotlines. They have a work and family, which kind of goes over everything to do with paid family leave, lactation accommodation, pregnancy accommodation, all that deals with work and family. You can ask them. They are low income based, but even if you don't meet their income requirements, you can still call them. It's just if you want to open case, then you would have to meet their eligibility requirements. Also, they have a Central Valley Workers' Rights hotline that you can call and just know more about your rights here in the Central Valley. They are open to everybody. Doesn't matter your documentation status. So if you're undocumented, they will still assist you. And again, they have bilingual services. Lastly, I really like this roadmap that Legal Aid at Work shares. And I'll go ahead and click on it so you guys can see it in big. So it really paves the way, like your journey through pregnancy from the moment you're pregnant, things that you could be doing. For example, learn about your rights at Legal Aid at Work. You may have the right to paid sick days and time off for prenatal care. So you can already start to know, what paid sick days and time off prenatal care. So, paid family leave. And then if anything changes, if you need any accommodations, they can help you through that journey. And then leave from work, paid during leave, and then lactation accommodation. So it's like this whole, roadmap from the moment you're pregnant to the moment that you have delivered. So you can always share that with your participants. And lastly is the Office of Women's Health, or OASH, which is the breastfeeding. I included this breastfeeding fact sheet for somebody that just wants to know a little bit about breastfeeding. It kind of gives you an overview in English and Spanish, a one-sided page flyer. So that is the breastfeeding educational resources for staff. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And are there currently any questions on that? Does it seem pretty, would you say any resources that you see may, I could include? Oh, yes, sorry. Tanya?
Yeah. I was just wondering if and when we would be able to utilize this, and then also if I could add, if I could send you the information for the POP program that we have, so that way if there's like any new mothers who need assistance understanding that program, they could contact us.
Definitely. So the first question you said, when would this be available? By the end of this meeting. And I'll share you, and I'll share how you guys can access it, but I'll also be emailing it out. So that way you guys have two options. But the second, you mentioned you wanted to present on what is POP, the prenatal outreach program, or?
So ours is the Parentage Opportunity Program. So it helps them solidify parentage over their child. If they are like single mothers, or if they're divorced, it's just a way for them to be, or if they're they do surrogacy, or if they're a same-sex couple. So if it's like two moms or two dads, we can help them establish that parentage. So that way, it's like a legal document. It's more secure than a birth certificate.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And we'd love to hear more about this, the program. So maybe if you did fill out the questionnaire, if you can just type in your information, and then we'll set up dates for you to present about it. Does that sound good? Awesome. And then I'm just looking at the chat. There's a few. Thank you so much. Great info. Can you add Academy of breastfeeding medicine, of course. Thank you for bringing that up. Melissa Olea, just to clarify, so we can't print the resource document itself. We can print and share the flyers attached within the document. Correct. So you can share the documents within it, but the breastfeeding resource, educational resource for staff, that is hyperlinked. So it wouldn't be useful if you print it out. Thank you so much for the comments. It looks amazing. And then share it on the child support community resource QR code. Could you elaborate on that, Tiana? You said, can I share it on the child support community resource QR code?
So we have a QR code that we share with our customers. It has like jobs and then community events, community resources. So when they scan it, it's monthly. They'll be able to continuously see what we upload. We can share the link to it on there, and then if we need to go in and pull flyers, we can do that as well. But I just wanted to be able to share that link so that way they would have access to everything in one place.
Access to the document that I just shared?
Yeah.
So the document you can, the only thing is it may be overwhelming for our participants. This is more tailored for our, like you guys, health educators, nurses, and those that work with the participants to kind of resources for yourself so you can feel, kind of up for the task, and then you can share specifics. So if they say, hey, I need help with lactation accommodation, okay, here's, the resource specifically. You can like take from there to share with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can. Well, we have an internal resource library too that we use. So I'll just put it in there and then staff can go in and check it out.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
And then you had another added question. How many breastfeeding stations should an organization have per 50 employees? So this kind of depends on the facility. So for example, if it's, let's say, for example, Kern Family Health Systems, right? It's a huge building, many employees. It would just depend on the need of how many employees are currently breastfeeding. So if there's, let's say over 5 employees, then you'd probably look into having 2 separate lactation spaces for them. And then some of them, depending on if they have like for myself, I have an office that's enclosed. If I'm comfortable enough to breast pump in my office and I can lock my room and I can, make it private, then I could just utilize my office. So it's kind of like depending on the situation, but that was a great question. And okay, I think I answered all the questions. Oh, Leslie, you said, I think this is amazing. I haven't looked at all the individual entries, but I plan to. Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. So then I'll go ahead and share how we can, how you guys can access it. Because there's a few items that you'll be able to access after today. So in order to do that, can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up, perfect, thank you. Go ahead and scan this QR code if you haven't already joined our Google Classroom. I know some of you have already joined, and I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat if you are unable to scan it, but I'll show you how to connect to the Google Classroom and how to find all these documents. So it makes it a lot easier. So the link is in the chat. Go ahead and click on it when you're ready. And scan the QR code if you haven't already. And I'm actually gonna pull up the screen. Okay. So your page may look a little bit different than mine, but this is where you would find, once you log in and you create an account and you access our classroom, then you should be able to see the classwork. And this is the stream. So the stream is just like everything as I post it, you're going to be able to see it. And then if you guys need the classroom, the class code, here's the class code. And I'll put that in the chat too.
Jazmin, all we see is all I see is the Google Classroom with a scan. I don't see what you're showing.
Got you. Okay, so you said you're not able to access Google Classroom?
No. Are you showing it? Are you showing it on the screen? Because all we see on the screen is the QR code.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Yes, I will. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay. Now, can you guys see my screen with the Google Classroom?
Yes.
Perfect. So here's the class code, and I put it in the group chat. And so this is what it will look like when you are logged in, and this is the stream. So this is just where, as I'm posting things, you'll be able to click on it. But if you're like me that likes everything kind of like neat and in little topics, then you can go to classwork. And here you're gonna be able to find the Kern County Breastfeeding Coalition meeting recordings. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And it's in PDF form. And again, these are all clickable. So if you click on the laptop icons, it'll send you to the recording. Unfortunately, I forgot and I didn't record the meeting for March, but we have January, February, and April. And then a short title description of what was shared at the recording. So that's where you could find the recordings. And Breastfeeding Educational Resources, as what I just shared, you'll find it here under Breastfeeding Educational Resource for staff. And then the one right above it is the Tulare and Keene's Breastfeeding Coalition Lunch and Learn. So they've actually created their own PDF form that's also clickable, and it's linked to their recordings over the past 2 years. So they have, just to name a few presentations: baby behaviors, understanding them and how they impact breastfeeding; the hospital experience, baby behavior in the first days of life; and then how medical providers can support breastfeeding. So a lot of great topics, a lot of great, speakers. Christina Starica was actually one of their speakers, and her topic was on lactation and infant sleep training, a health equity approach. So yeah, that will be in the Google Classroom for you under Breastfeeding Educational Resources. And then moving down the line, this was last year. We had talked about doing a breastfeeding welcome campaign. So if you're interested in learning what that would look like, you can go ahead and click on it. There's videos linked. There's documents to kind of get an understanding of what I believe it was Shasta County, which is up north. Their breastfeeding, I think they're called the Northern Star Breastfeeding Coalition. I may be wrong, but they did this awesome campaign on, how to make their community more breastfeeding welcome, the local shops. So it's really, really nice. And so there's that. Any questions on this so far? I haven't been looking at the chat. Anybody having trouble with accessing the Google Classroom? Or
So my internet is out today at my house, and I'm like, of all days, because I struggle with all the technology stuff. Yeah, so I can't look at my tablet or my computer. I'm trying to see all this on my phone, and it's challenging, but a beautiful job, Jazmin. Really great. Yes.
And you know, we can always meet separately, and we can go over all these, and I'll assist you with navigating through the Google Classroom if you'd like.
Okay, Jazmin. I appreciate that.
Of course. So then we are all good to move on to the next topic, or if you have any questions, feel free to email me or even give me a call. I will put my contact information in the chat for those of you that don't have it. But can you guys still see my screen, the slide? Yes? Yes, okay, thank you so much. All right, so I'm gonna stop talking and now I'm gonna give you guys the floor to talk and to share any events, updates, or any just additional questions, or, you know, the floor is your guys's. I know, Tiana, you had mentioned your program briefly. I don't know if you want to share any more, elaborate on the information that you already shared.
No, I'll wait and do that at a later time, just because the program is kind of lengthy. But I just want to say, we, like, for Kern County, I am one of the POP coordinators. So if you need someone to go ahead and help a client fill that out, I can definitely come and do that for you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And you mentioned you're the POP coordinator?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, thank you. I see some new faces, so welcome, Ms. Rosalia. Hello, thank you so much for joining us and for letting us see your beautiful face.
Thank you. I kind of missed half of it. I'm so sorry. I got the link late because I was still at lunch, so I was trying to kind of catch up what you guys were talking about. But I do love. I didn't get to hear your whole entire half hour, unfortunately. But I do wanted to comment on that breastfeeding. I think it's a flyer that you have, and it has all the different things. I love that. I'm very familiar with some of them, so it's kind of some of the new ones that I didn't know. I kind of looked them up, so I see a couple on there. So thank you. I just want to let you know on that one.
Thank you so much, Rosalia. That means a lot. And also, this meeting is recorded, so I'll be sharing the recordings. I want to say sooner than later, because I know I took like 3 months to actually put up January, February, and April. So I'm planning by the end of today, you guys will have the recording. Anybody else that wants to share? I know I received a few flyers. I don't know if anybody wants to elaborate on those flyers that they shared through the questionnaire, and I can pull them up as well.
I do have something to share, Jazmin. I will email you the flyers. So I'm Catalina with EDD. So I do have, I don't know if anybody was aware, but in the beginning of January, there was a lot of floodings here in the Kern County area and Tulare County area. So there is a FEMA disaster center in McFarland. So I am telling everybody right now that those that were affected by floodings, the only thing that EDD is right now doing is usually when people open up their unemployment, there is a waiting period. So that waiting period is lifted to those that were affected by the floodings. So you do get paid out during that first week. And I will send out that flyer. Again, I'm not representing FEMA, but I do have information regarding the 2 disaster recovery centers open in Kern County. One in Lake Isabella and the other in the McFarland area. So they're only going to be here, I believe, until May 20th. And I'll go ahead and send out that information to you.
No, thank you so much for sharing that, Catalina. It's such essential and, you know, time sensitive information. And just a quick question to that, a quick follow-up. You mentioned that the Disaster Center for Recovery in McFarland and Lake Isabella will be present until May 20th?
So I would have, I'm gonna look back at the dates for Lake Isabella, but I know for McFarland, they're there until May 20th. So if anybody that needs assistance, not only is EDD out there, but there's other resources available inside of the gymnasium.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the questionnaire while we're. And Catalina, you can actually, if you haven't already, scan this QR code, or you can click the link at the top of the chat, and it's going to connect you to the questionnaire, and that's where you can upload any flyers that you have.
Okay, and I did attach 2 flyers, one in Spanish and one in English, regarding the services that I do, and all the locations that where I'm at. But I'll go ahead and, do you want me to reattach this one or send you the FEMA one? Because again, I'm not representing FEMA, but I do try to distribute as much information as possible, only because EDD is helping FEMA.
Got it. No, yeah, please, if you could, since you already shared yours, you can go ahead and email it to me. That way it doesn't get all.
Okay.
mixed.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? The floor is. We still have a few more minutes. Anybody? Sorry about that. Oh, Vanya, sorry, I didn't see you have your hand up. Go
Yes.
ahead.
And I just raised my hand, so you're good. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to share. We did have our first Kern Family Healthcare Wellness Festival. This past, it's been 2 weeks already. So April 29th, we did have it at our building, which was really nice because it is our first event there at our new building. We're right off of Buck Owen, so right across that big Bakersfield sign across the Crystal Palace. And it was a pretty good turnout. You know, it was nice to see our members and bringing out their family. I mean, of course, it was open to the community. So we did have, you know, a few people join, and they're like, hey, you know, I was just driving by, like, what do you guys have going on here, right? So we had a little bit of everything. We had health screenings. We also had for like the little ones, or even, you know, the adults, face painting, different crafts going on. It almost looked like, I know some people mentioned, looks kind of like a farmer's market. You know, you have a little bit of everything, different vendors, which was really nice. Because I think, you know, having that too, and again, open to the community, it really brings, you know, everyone together, kind of sense of, you know, what it was before, you know, COVID, I guess, which, you know, again, it's still around, but, you know, it gives us that sense of, like, you know, bringing the community together again. And again, it was really, really nice, a really good turnout. And we do hope, that it is something that's annual. As of right now, again, it's our first one. So hopefully, next year we can plan something even bigger, hopefully. But again, I just wanted to, take time to share with you guys. We had a pretty good turnout. We had public health there. We had also representatives from WIC, CAPK, again, great resources for our community. And then, it gives us an opportunity to talk to one another. If we do have any questions, sharing our programs, our resources. Again, it's all great. But yeah, just wanted to, I don't know if any of you attended. It was that day, the weather's crazy in Kern County. So that day it was a little bit hot. So we're like, I'm not sure if, some people maybe did think it was a little bit warm, but again, we were passing out waters and things like that. So it was really nice. So just wanted to, share with you guys a little bit on that. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Banya. I actually was planning to go out to that event and be a vendor, and I completely forgot that I was also going to baptize my nephew. So I didn't get to make it, but I'm so happy that you guys had a successful turnout, and you guys gave out resources. I love that, giving out water to everybody, because it was pretty hot that day. But you guys are troopers, so thank you. And again, anybody is you're welcome to share any challenges or wins if you had. It could be breastfeeding related, or like Banya mentioned, with a community resource fair that they had. And if we don't have anything to share, that's all right too. I'll stay a few minutes right now, if you guys want to go ahead, and we'll conclude for today, and I'll stay a few minutes in case anybody has any lingering questions or just wants to share. But thank you again for coming out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.